Afternoon, Paul.
Hi, Graham. How you doing?
The arrival of Jordan Ayew, can you firstly tell us what kind of fitness he's in, what his availability is, and the probability of him playing this weekend?
Jordan's in good shape. He arrived yesterday into the country and spent yesterday afternoon with the sort of the medical and the physical department doing all the relevant checks, and he was fine. He joined training this morning, and he's good. He's ready to go, and he'll be involved at the weekend.
Starting or?
I haven't decided that yet. He is fit, and they're the kind of decisions I'll confirm over the next couple of days. We've still got a couple of training sessions left. All the groups training well. Injuries, we just have Key, who's out still. Leon Britton has a small issue, may be available, we're not quite sure yet. And the only other one is a long-term one to Jefferson Montero.
You had the fantastic momentum of back-to-back wins. That momentum has been halted a bit by Manchester City. Given the proximity of Leicester to you in the table, is this the biggest game since you've been here?
I think just reflecting on Manchester City, it was a good performance from us, particularly in the second half, and we were very, very, very close to getting an extremely valuable point, and we were all desperately disappointed in the dressing room afterwards. The circumstances of the goal, the timing of the goal, and that we were so close to getting a point that would have put us another couple of places up the table. But it wasn't to be, but we can still draw a lot of positives from that performance, like I say, especially in the second half. Is this the biggest game of the season? It's the next game, and all the games that we have are very, very important. And Leicester is our opponent. Whether that had been another team, home or away, it was still going to be a very important game for us.
But the fact that you've been travelling in one direction, Leicester have been travelling in the other direction, gives it an extra edge, doesn't it?
Well, the two teams are on level points, and we won't play each other again this season. So it does add a little bit of extra spice to the fixture. Even though that we didn't get anything out of our last game, we go into this game still with a lot of confidence and belief that we're moving in the right direction. We're playing at home, that's a clear advantage for us, and we need to make best use of that.
What have you made of Leicester's struggles this season? Have they surprised you?
Yes, surprised me. Big surprise last season as well. I watched that very closely unfold at the end, as many of us did, and enjoyed what a magical spectacle it was. And they've had a difficult year. I think it just shows how tough this league is.
You've been involved in squads where trophies have been won. Is there a difficulty in maintaining sometimes players' focus, their hunger, when you have reached the top of the tree?
Well, I was fortunate enough at the clubs that I was at to, when we'd been successful in one, we were there and thereabouts about it again the following season. But it's a very hard thing to do. It's it's a matter of strong mentality, the type of players that you have, the staff that you have, and it's uncharted territory really for Leicester, isn't it? That they first of all won it last year, and this year have defended it. It's been a difficult year for them, but they are still a very good team, and we've got to make sure that they don't start putting things right against us.
What have you made of the suggestions that Claudio Ranieri has lost some support in the dressing room? Does that surprise you?
I don't know. You never know what the truth is coming out of those kind of situations. The rumours. Personally, I think he was a good manager going into his time at Leicester. As manager of Chelsea and Inter Milan and other very good clubs as well. And what he did at that club last season was truly remarkable. And for that alone, in my opinion, he deserves time. He deserves time to get it right and put it right.
Did you watch the cup game last night? And do you think that could have a bit of a bearing on this selection?
Yeah, I watched the game. I didn't think it was a very good first half, but then it got going in the second half. It was a good victory for them. They made obviously a lot of changes, as did Derby. I don't expect the team that I saw playing against Derby to play on Sunday. I think it'll be a very different looking team.
And in terms of where you are, where they are, and that question of momentum, you're obviously very keen to get that back because it's a fragile thing, isn't it?
Yes, but again, the same as what we've done going into the other games, focus on the performance. We've reflected in a lot of detail about what we did against Manchester City, where we weren't so good in the first half and what we needed to put right, and we did put some things right in the second half, and we need to make sure that we're starting off very strongly from the first whistle at home against Leicester on Sunday.
And just lastly from me, Paul, wider afield, it's Arsenal against Bayern Munich next week. Given your Bayern connections, how do you see that game going?
Well, two very good teams. I think it was on the 26th of December. I was still a member of the Bayern Munich staff, and I'd gone to Arsenal to watch them play with my Bayern Munich scouting head on. They played West Brom on Boxing Day, and I made my notes, ready to help Bayern going into that game. I actually used the notes for myself playing Swansea against Arsenal. Obviously, it didn't work very well, so I won't be passing them on to Carlo. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to go to the game in London, which is the second leg. Two very good teams, and it'll be an exciting tie.
And if you had to put money on it?
Cool. I wouldn't like to say. I mean, I think first game in Bayern. It's a very difficult place for any club to go to. So that's going to be big for both sides. What happens after the first game. Bayern can be very, very strong at home and put some big results past some good teams. So I mean, it's see how that goes, and then it's all set up for the return leg, which I'm looking forward to going to.
Thanks, Paul.
Paul, Key's been missing a couple of games now. How serious is the injury? Are you worried that he's going to be a couple of weeks again, or?
Yeah, it's possible. It could be. He's had some specialist opinion on his knee. He's going to get some further advice on it, and then we'll go from there. Time-wise, it's difficult to say. It's not a long-term injury, but I'm personally hoping that 3 to 4 weeks we'll see him back again.
Because at this time of the season, you need all your resources, don't you?
Yeah, we do, and with Leon being out the last couple of days as well, it doesn't leave us with a lot of depth in the midfield. Midfield have been doing very well, and we're going to need to keep them fit, the ones we've got at the moment.
And what you have to consider with Jordan Ayew, just the little time he's had to fit into the shape of the team. You clearly believe his fitness is fine. What goes through your mind on deciding how much of a part he plays on Sunday?
His fitness is fine. It's more about getting the information into him that he needs to be able to go out on the pitch and do his job. I can see him very much being involved on Sunday, but I'm not sure quite yet to what degree. We'll see how we get on tomorrow and the day after, and if I see confidence in him that he's very much tuned into what we're asking of him. But he's a good player, and physically he's fine, so he'll certainly be involved.
And Luciano Narsing, is he sort of knocking on your door as well to start?
He hasn't actually knocked on my door, but he's doing well. He's doing well. Sort of come up with a crucial assist against Southampton and another one against Manchester City. And that's another decision that I'll have to make about whether he starts the game or is an impact player again.
Must you have to tell your defensive players about Vardy? He's not having a great season by his massively high standards last season. Is he a player where you think you can just click for him one day and he can be a big threat? Or?
Yeah, of course. Based on what he's done for Leicester and the national team as well, he's a very dangerous player. So we're going to have to defend very well. We know what his strengths are, so we're going to have to counter those with good defending, good concentration, and we don't want him to have a revival of form against us.
You talked about it's the biggest game because it's the next game effectively, but it's fair to say with this one, this has huge consequences for both of you, doesn't it?
Well, it's 3 points are available, and I think psychologically, if we get the victory, good performance and a victory, it's going to be a big boost, particularly after the difficult result we had in the last game. The circumstances of conceding so late and not being able to take away a valuable point. So we're going to be doing our very best to win the game here on Sunday.
And what do you make of? We talked last week about maybe it's 6 teams involved, maybe more now after the weekend results, but Hull City, Sunderland winning. What do you make of the fight at the bottom now? Because it appears that everyone has what you've talked about, the belief that they can stay up still.
Yeah, there won't be a team in that region of the table that don't think they can do it. And the points are so tightly packed together now. From that position, into 17th, 16th, 15th, even going a little bit higher now. It all depends how the results go. I think we're the last, we're obviously one of the last fixtures at the weekend, so we'll know about how the other results have gone going into our game. But most important thing, we've been training hard. We've had that advantage of, after Manchester City, we've had a free week to plan and prepare, both on the training field and in the video room as well. And we need to try and make best use of that.
Could it be though that given the sort of upward momentum of yourselves that in recent weeks of Hull City, Sunderland putting off a ridiculous win at Palace sort of thing, could it be that the points needed to stay up will be less than normal because it's so tight and they're picking up points, everybody is picking up points? Yeah,
possibly. I think I've seen in the past that 43 points is the team's gone down. I think with 43 points, and the team stayed up with 36. So those stats are out there, but could be anything in between those figures. But next game, that's it.
And you talk about the others will have played. Does that obviously affect mentality going into Sunday's game?
Yeah. I don't think there'd be many people that go into the game and haven't looked and seen the situation of the table and the results coming in. So I think it does have an impact, even if it's subconsciously. But my job is to focus the players on what their jobs are and the details of their jobs to try and get good team performance, and that's what I'll be working on with them. And
just on Claudio Ranieri, are you surprised that Coach of the Year suddenly becomes almost public enemy number one in some quarters?
Oh, how he's public enemy number one, I don't understand that. And some of the talk coming out about unrest and players speaking to chairman and all this kind of thing, and pundits talking about who might be the next coach of Leicester is just, in my opinion, it's not right. It's not right. He, based on what he did last year, as I just said to Graham, I think he's a very, very good coach and manager, tactically very good, did amazingly well with that group of players, got them so mentally tough during that run-in that they had that people thought they were going to fall away, and they were winning 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. They kept doing it week in, week out. He did an amazing job, and he deserves time to turn that around.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. Paul, I know you'll have had analysis and obviously all your experts having had a look at Leicester, but obviously with Nathan Dyer in the camp, you've got somebody who's had fairly recent experience of what it's like to be part of the Leicester setup. Will you talk to him at all about what the sort of the mental strength is of those players in the Leicester dressing room?
I've had a discussion with Nathan already about Leicester.
Yeah. Care to share?
No, of course not. It would be silly of me not to have asked him about some particular things.
Did he give you any, I know you're not going to give me details, did he give you any cause for optimism?
He's very good, Nathan. He's a very bright young man, and I enjoyed actually sitting down with him for 10-15 minutes, just one-to-one, and talking through some different things, not only about his experience there at Leicester last year, but asking him some tactical questions and about his own development. So it was good. It was a good chat we had.
Very diplomatic, well done. Just in terms of Claudio Ranieri, you said about the mental strength of their players last season. You know, everybody was expecting them to fall away. Obviously, there are players in that squad as well that were working under Nigel Pearson that's, you know, managed to avoid then relegation. Will you be talking to your players about learning lessons from that? I mean, I know that you have a lot of confidence in your group of players anyway, but having seen what Leicester have been able to do, I know it's not great at the moment, but having gone from where they were to then winning the title, I mean, are there lessons to be learned from them and their mentality?
I think there's always lessons around in sport and business that you can draw upon, and in life to help motivate and give your players inspiration to go and do better. That's not going to be one I'm going to be speaking to them about going into this game. But you know, I've already used examples of different teams that I've liked in the past about things that I felt that they did very well, and my own experience of working with some excellent teams as well. I think, you know, that keeps things nice and bright, and the players interested in what you're talking to them about.
Yeah, how much are they interested in that? I mean, obviously their first love is getting out there and kicking a ball around, but how much are they interested in sort of that side of things as well?
Yeah, I think the players like variety, and you know, nobody likes to hear the same things over and over and again. There is a repetitive nature to what we do in the way that we train and prepare and plan, but you know, I'm a coach that likes variety and the players to be stimulated every time they come in. That's something different, whether it be training or in the meeting, and keeps them on their toes and keeps things nice and bright.
Notice being up at training today, there's sort of camaraderie amongst them all. Obviously, there are a number of them who've known each other for a long time, so there is that relationship. But there seems to be a real joy amongst them being up there today, not just when they were training, but also coming off and having a bit of a banter as well. Is that something that you've actively encouraged, or is it something that you've come in and seen as being there already? Do you think it's come out of the fact that they've had better performances recently? I mean, what do you put that down to, that real sense of camaraderie amongst them?
Yeah, I think it's actually surprised me a little bit that they are a very cohesive group, get on well with each other. The new players that have come in have integrated very well, and that's credit to them, the kind of personalities that they have, but also the way that they've been welcomed into the dressing room. So that's been quite a fluid transition for the group, and the same from my point of view as well. I've been welcomed in and by the staff and by the players. They've taken on board really well the methods that we use. We've picked up obviously some decent results, and I think all those things put in together has helped with what you saw today.
And we also noticed, I mean, how inclusive you were with the wider Swansea City family in terms of bringing them in and sharing in various occasions. Is that something that you do almost subconsciously, or is it very much a conscious thing that, you know, you need to make everybody feel they're part of the singing from the same hymn sheet and part of the same gang?
Oh, well, one of my very first meetings that I had, it was the day after the Crystal Palace win, that I had all the players and all the support staff in the auditorium, and I spoke to them about everybody has a part to play, and you know, I think that's what I tried to show today as well, that you know, we are all in this together, and everyone needs to take care of their job. Everyone needs to do their job the best they can, and those kind of details are very important. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Usual 30-minute part.